How's it going, everybody? Too Spooky here. And welcome back to the week of 101's. And if you're unsure what the week of 101's is, we recently hit 100,000 subscribers, and because of that, I'm going to be putting out a 101 Facts video every single day for a whole entire week. Today is day number 5, and today, we are going to be counting down 101 facts about Batman. This video was suggested by Titan God Gaming, Hellraiser, and Martin Gracia Battaraco. Thank you guys so much for the suggestion, and I really hope you enjoy this video today because this one is going out to you. And real quick before we jump into the facts, I quickly just wanted to say that this video will be covering Batman as a whole. So Batman himself, anybody who is associated with Batman, any comics, movies, or other media involving Batman, any video games involving Batman, just everything Batman related is subject to be in this video. So just keep that in mind. But anyways guys, get out your Batman costume, put it on, and let's just jump right into it. Number 1. Batman was created by Bob Kane and Bill Finger. Bob Kane being the artist and Bill Finger being the writer. Number 2. Batman's first appearance was in Detective Comics number 27, which came out in May of 1939. Number 3. When Batman was first created, his name was actually hyphenated, kind of like how Spider-Man's name is written. This was of course changed pretty early on. Number 4. Batman's first live-action appearance was in 1943 and was simply called The Batman. It starred Lewis Wilson as Batman and Douglas Croft as Robin. Number 5. Batman was originally much darker in the early days. He even carried a gun and sometimes had no problem killing his enemies. It wasn't until later on that Batman developed a code for himself so he wouldn't become like the man who killed his parents. Number 6. In 1954, the Comics Code Authority was created, which was the comic agency's way of censoring themselves due to Senate hearings and the release of the book Seduction of the Innocent by Frederick Wortham, which said that comic books were influencing violence in children and teenagers due to the context of these comic books. Because of this, Batman was heavily censored for quite some time. Number 7. From January 12th of 1966 to March 14th of 1968, there was a cheesy Batman TV series that cast Adam West as Batman and Burt Ward as Robin. A lot of hardcore Batman fans were not happy with how upbeat it was, but it did bring back a rise in popularity for Batman once again. Number 8. The 1960s Batman series was cancelled after its 3rd season, but originally ABC kept the set intact just in case a different network wanted to pick up the show. Well, after a while, nobody made any offers, so the studio destroyed the set. But after everything was destroyed, NBC decided to produce an offer to pick the series up. But unfortunately, because everything was destroyed and restoring the Batcave alone would take over $800,000 to rebuild, they retracted their offer and the show was officially over. Number 9. On July 30th of 1966, Batman the Movie was released, which was based on the TV show starring Adam West, and was aired shortly after the TV show's first season concluded. Number 10. In 1989, Tim Burton's Batman became the first modern comic book blockbuster hit movie, and was critically acclaimed for its dark tone, as well as that many fans were also very pleased with the dark tone that was present. In this movie, Batman was played by Michael Keaton, and before the film was released, a lot of people had doubts that he would make a good Batman. But once the film was released, fans and critics alike were pretty impressed by his performance. Number 11. Before they settled on Michael Keaton for the role, many other actors were considered to play the Caped Crusader, such as Kevin Costner, Bill Murray, Tom Selleck, Pierce Brosnan, Mel Gibson, and Charlie Sheen. Side note, could you guys imagine a Charlie Sheen Batman? That would be a disaster. Number 12! On June 19th of 1992, Batman Returns was released to theaters, which was the sequel to the 1989 movie, and it featured returning director Tim Burton and returning Batman Michael Keaton. The film was yet another success, which led to another sequel. Sort of. Number 13. Tim Burton decided to step down after the second movie because making the second one apparently gave him a mental breakdown. So instead, Joel Schumacher stepped in as director, and Michael Keaton was also replaced with Val Kilmer. This movie was called Batman Forever, which was released on June 16th of 1995. The movie took a step back from the previous two, which were on the darker side, and replaced with a much more family-friendly vibe. Now, although this movie isn't as bad as the movie that would come after it, it was still a big step back instead of a step forward. And Val Kilmer was apparently very hard to work with on set, so he was not picked up for the next sequel. Oh, and this movie also introduced Robin to the movies, being played by Chris O'Donnell. Number 14. On June 20th of 1997, Batman and Robin was released, starring George Clooney as Batman, Chris O'Donnell once again as Robin, and Joel Schumacher returning as director. Now, I won't say a whole lot about the movie itself, but let's just say that it is considered one of the worst movies of all time, and George Clooney still blames himself for ruining it. Number 15. In both the 1989 and 1992 Batman movies, Robin was of course not present, but he was included in early scripts for both movies, but later taken out. So we could have had Robin from the beginning. Number 16. Also, after Batman Returns, but before Batman Forever, Batman the Animated Series premiered. Specifically, it ran from September 5th of 1992 to September 15th of 1995. And it concluded with a total of 85 episodes. Number 17. Before the next Batman movie would ever begin, several Batman movie projects were in the works, but each ended up being scrapped. These included Darren Aronofsky, who would have directed Batman Year One, and Wolfgang Peterson, who was going to direct Batman vs. Superman. Side note, I'm fully aware that I mispronounced Darren's name. Number 18. Moving on to June 25th of 2005, 8 years after Batman and Robin, Batman Begins was released. The first movie of the soon-to-be trilogy, starring Christian Bale as Batman and directed by Christopher Nolan. This, along with the other two films in the trilogy, are considered by many as some of, if not the best, superhero movies of all time. So you could say it did exceptionally well, and it brought Batman back to that much darker tone. Number 19. Next, in July 18th of 2008, The Dark Knight was released, bringing in over $1 billion at the box office. This is regarded by most to be the best and darkest out of the three movies, and although at first many were upset with Heath Ledger's casting of the Joker, they were blown away by his performance in the movie. And Nolan has cited The Killing Joke, the Joker's debut, and The Long Halloween as his inspirations for the movie. Number 20. And finally, on July 20th of 2012, The Dark Knight Rises was released to theaters. This movie brought in almost $1.1 billion at the box office, even topping The Dark Knight, which many didn't think would be possible. This would also be Christian Bale's final cinematic portrayal as Batman. Number 21. Almost 4 years later, on March 25th of 2016, Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice was released to theaters. This movie was directed by Zack Snyder and starred Ben Affleck as Batman instead of Christian Bale. This also marks the first movie leading up to the Justice League and future standalone Batman film with Ben Affleck. The Batman in this movie is also cited as being a much darker character because he does in fact kill multiple people throughout the movie, and even brands a few of them. Now, regarding the movie itself, it received mixed reviews from both fans and critics alike. Number 22. Batman has a sidekick who goes by the name Robin, as I'm sure you are all fully aware. And over the course of Batman's history, there have been a total of 6 Robins so far. The very first was Dick Grayson. The second was Jason Todd. Then in The Dark Knight Returns, we had Carrie Kelly, who was the first female Robin. Then there was Tim Drake. Next, we had the second girl Robin, which was Stephanie Brown, and the latest Robin is Damian Wayne, who is Bruce's own son with Talia al Ghul. Number 23. Regarding the second Robin, Jason Todd, back in 1988, DC Comics gave the readers a poll to vote whether or not Robin would live or die in the next comic. The votes ended up tallying out to 5,343 for death and 5,271 for life. So although it was very close, it was decided by fans that Jason Todd would be killed. And because of that, in the comic, A Death in the Family, Jason Todd was beaten fiercely by the Joker and tied up in a warehouse with a bomb, to which the bomb exploded, killing him. R.I.P. Jason Todd Robin. Number 24. The first Robin, Dick Grayson, was also only supposed to appear in one issue. However, Bob Kane wanted to see if comic book fans would be open to Batman having a teen sidekick fight alongside him. And this not only took off greatly, but effectively began the whole sidekick movement in future comics. Number 25. The Batcave was actually first introduced in the 1943 Batman movie, and it just kinda became a regular thing in the comics after that too. Number 26. Detective Comics number 27, which was Batman's first appearance, has sold for a whopping $4.23 million at one point in time. Number 27. Batman's name is Bruce Wayne, as I'm sure you're all fully aware. But did you know who he's named after? Well, he is named after the Scottish hero, Robert the Bruce, and American Revolutionary hero, Mad Anthony Wayne. Number 28. In Batman Begins, when Christian Bale and Liam Neeson were dueling on top of the frozen lake, the actors could apparently hear the ice snapping and breaking underneath them. Yet they continued the take anyways, and the next day when they went back, the lake was completely melted. So essentially there could have been some big problems had they continued. Well, if you're gonna be fighting on a frozen lake, just make sure to bring a towel just in case you fall in. Not only will it dry you off, but it'll also help keep you warm so you don't catch a cold or get hypothermia. Thank you once again, Towley, but we are actually talking about Batman and not about towels. Well, yeah, I'm aware of that, but it's very important that people know about proper towel use. Okay, moving on. Number 29. Before Batman was placed in his home of Gotham City, he started out in New York until the writers created Gotham. Because of this, the design of Gotham City has been heavily based on New York City over the years.
Number 30!
Other than just being called Batman, he has been given quite a few other nicknames as he has progressed over time, including the Caped Crusader, the Dark Knight, and the world's greatest detective, among other names like Batsy.
Number 31.
Gotham City was first introduced, or at least named, in Batman number 4, which came out in December of 1940, so it took over a year since his first introduction for Gotham to be named.
Number 32.
Gotham City is also located in the northeastern United States in the comics, specifically in New Jersey, and it is supposed to be very close to Metropolis.
Number 33.
Vicky Vale is essentially the Lois Lane of the Batman comics, and she was introduced in Batman number 49 back in 1948. Well, in the comics she has red hair, but for instance in the 1989 movie she has blonde hair. Well, according to Bob Kane, one of the creators of Batman, she was originally supposed to have blonde hair, but instead her hair came out as red due to a coloring error in her first appearance. So they just kinda went with it from then on. Number 34. Batman is the DC hero with the most iconic villains out of any other character.
Number 35.
It has also been said that Batman has the biggest arsenal at his disposal out of all other comic book characters. Number 36. The Batmobile was the first Bat-themed vehicle to make its debut, and the second was the Batplane.
Number 37.
The hospital that the Joker blows up in the Dark Knight movie was actually an abandoned candy factory located in Chicago.
Number 38.
The iconic bat signal was first introduced in 1942, 3 years after Batman's introduction.
Number 39.
In Justice League Dark Side War, Batman became a bat god for a little bit.
Number 40.
In the first concepts of Batman, he had these giant wings instead of a cape. Well, this was changed to a cape because the creators felt he wouldn't be able to fight crime very well with gigantic wings in the way all the time. Number 41. Also in this original concept, he was not wearing his trademark bat mask, but instead he was wearing a mask kind of like the one that Robin wears. He also had blonde hair and wore a red suit. So Batman was quite a bit different in his first concept, to say the least. Number 42. Heath Ledger actually originally met with Christopher Nolan as a potential candidate to play Bruce Wayne for Batman Begins. Now, according to Nolan, Ledger said, and I quote, "I would never take a part in a superhero film." But after their meetup, Heath Ledger actually signed on to play the Joker in The Dark Knight when the script wasn't even made yet. So it is unknown what Nolan said to him to change his mind.
Number 43.
After Batman was heavily censored and became family-friendly for years in the comics, it was a breath of fresh air when the Dark Knight Returns comics finally came out. Critics were not very happy to say the least, and hated it. Yet a lot of true Batman fans loved it. And over the years it has been inspiration for many Batman-themed movies, video games, and TV shows. Most recently, it was the inspiration for Batman vs. Superman, Dawn of Justice's version of Batman.
Number 44.
In the 1989 Batman movie, the bat ears on his mask were too tall for the Batmobile's door cockpit to close, so a new mask with shorter ears had to be made so he could fit in the Batmobile.
Number 45.
The Batmobile in the Dark Knight trilogy was once hit by a drunk driver. See, apparently they were moving the vehicle down the street and a drunk driver drove right into it. Allegedly, when the driver saw it, he floored his vehicle into it because he thought it was a spacecraft and that aliens were taking over.
Number 46.
Speaking of Batmobiles, the Lamborghini that Bruce drives in The Dark Knight is called a Murcielago, which is Spanish for bat.
I see what you did there.
Number 47. In the new 52 reboot of the comics, it was revealed that Bruce took up the mantle of Batman at age 25, which in turn means he's around 30 years old. Number 48. The next theatrical Batman movie release will actually be the Lego Batman movie, which will be released to theaters on May 26th of 2017.
So mark your calendars, folks.
Number 49. It is currently unknown if Bruce Wayne has a middle name, and if he does, it is still yet to be revealed. Number 50. When Christian Bale was first approached to play Batman, he stated that he would not play Batman if Robin appeared anywhere in the trilogy. And Christopher Nolan actually ended up agreeing with him because he felt it would remove the dark tone he was hoping for. Because of this,
spoiler alert,
Robin is only somewhat introduced as Robin at the end of the Dark Knight Rises movie. Number 51. The Dark Knight Rises is so far the only live-action Batman movie that has not used the bat signal.
Number 52.
Patrick Leahy, who is the senator of Vermont, is a big fan of Batman, and because of that he made a cameo in the Dark Knight movie. Number 53. Before the Arkham Asylum game came out, Pandemic Studios were instead developing a Batman-themed game based on the upcoming Dark Knight movie. Although when the movie came out, the game was still stuck deep in development and was nowhere near being completed. Because of this, EA lost the licensing of the game along with $100 million. And this resulted in the termination of over 1,000 jobs. However, this license was later picked up and given to Rocksteady Studios, who then produced Arkham Asylum, which turned out to be extremely successful. Number 54. The shape of Batman's cape was inspired by Da Vinci's wingsuit design and the ornithopter. Number 55. In the 1989 Batman movie, the map of Gotham that is shown by Vicky Vale is actually just a redrawn version of Vancouver. Number 56. Also on the topic of Gotham, Bill Finger came up with the name by opening up a phone book to a random page and randomly putting his finger down on Gotham Jewelers.
Number 57.
In the 1989 Batman movie, when the Joker calls for a helicopter to arrive in 10 minutes, it actually arrives 10 minutes later in real time. This happens again in The Dark Knight Rises when the final chase sequence where the countdown of the time bomb is 11 minutes is also shown in real time.
Number 58.
In The Dark Knight, Heath Ledger filmed and directed the 2 warning videos that Joker sent out during the movie.
Number 59.
In the comics, whenever Batman needs to use an online screen name, he uses John Doe 297.
Number 60.
Back in April of 1996, Marvel and DC made a crossover between the 2 universes, and through this they merged Batman with Wolverine, which created Logan Wayne, better known as Dark Claw. Through this crossover, there were a few other popular character mergers, but Dark Claw is one of the most popular, if not the most popular.
Number 61.
In the Flashpoint universe of the comics, Bruce Wayne dies instead of his mother and father, and then his father instead becomes Batman while his mother becomes the Joker. Number 62. John Blake, who is played by Joseph Gordon-Levitt in The Dark Knight Rises and is, spoiler alert again, hinted at becoming Robin after the movie ends, was inspired by one of the people who took up the mantle of Robin, which is Tim Drake. John Blake, Tim Drake, sounds close enough to me. My guess is that they used a different name other than Tim Drake so fans wouldn't know who he was or would become at the beginning of the movie. Number 63. Paul Reubens, who is most noted for playing Pee Wee Herman, made a small appearance in the Batman Returns movie playing Penguin's dad. Number 64. After the filming of the Batman vs. Superman movie was complete, Ben Affleck asked the studio if he could take home one of the Batman suits, and he was told that he could, if he paid the $100,000 it took to make it, so he decided against it. Number 65. Out of respect for Heath Ledger after his death, the Joker was not mentioned even once in The Dark Knight Rises. Number 66. The Dark Knight movie is the first Batman movie in history that didn't use Batman in the title. The Dark Knight Rises, of course, being the second. Number 67. Bob Kane, who was the original artist of Batman, was supposed to make a cameo in Tim Burton's 1989 Batman movie, but apparently he was too ill to do so, so instead he drew Knox's drawing of Batman, and you can even see his signature on the picture. Number 68. Also in the 1989 movie, Batman's boots were created by Nike. Number 69. In the Dark Knight Rises movie, Batman made his first appearance in the daylight throughout the whole trilogy to fight Bane. This is because Bane posed such a threat that he had to go against his usual methods to stop him. Generally, in both film and comics alike, Batman is also rarely shown in the daylight because he is generally a hero of the night, and uses the darkness as a way of stealth and intimidation. So Bane must have really been something else. Man, I'm just glad he's really cleaned up his bad side since joining the channel. Otherwise, I'd be in for it. Number 70. The Sinestro Corps are essentially the Green Lantern's enemy or opposite. While the Green Lantern rings are given to those with the greatest willpower, the yellow rings are given to those who can instill the most fear. And when one of these rings found its way to Earth, it found the person who could instill the most fear. And that person was, you guessed it, Batman. So what we can get out of this is that Batman is the most feared person on Earth. Number 71. Batman's villain, Harley Quinn, was never present in the comics. However, she was introduced during the 1990s animated series, and she quickly grew in popularity, and because of that she was brought into the comic book universe as well. Number 72. Bruce Wayne hooked up with Lois Lane at one point. So yeah, that's a thing. Number 73. Back when casting was being made for Batman Forever, Christian Bale actually screen tested to be Robin. Of course, he ended up not being chosen for the role, but who knew he would end up playing Batman in the coming years? Number 74. When Batman and Bane lock eyes before duking it out in The Dark Knight Rises, Tom Hardy, who was the actor who plays Bane, needed to wear 3-inch heels so he could be the same height as Christian Bale, so he could look him in the eyes. Number 75. Batman's favorite food is mulligatawny soup. Number 76. In the country of Turkey, there is a city called Batman. Number 77. In the Dark Knight movie, a handful of scenes were filmed with $500,000 IMAX cameras, which this ended up being the first film that ever used them in the first place, and there were only 4 in existence at that time. Unfortunately though, one of these cameras ended up being destroyed during the making of the movie during the chase scene with the SWAT trucks. Number 78. While Batman's birthday changes from writer to writer, it was first said in Detective Comics number 494 that his birthday is February 19th. Number 79. The Batman animated series was the first time Mark Hamill voiced the Joker, and he continues to voice the Joker through different forms of Batman media to this day. Number 80. In Batman Arkham Asylum, if a PC version of the game detects that the game was pirated, it will prevent the player from being able to use Batman's cape to glide, which in turn makes the game extremely difficult and even prevents the player from finishing it. Number 81. There was a Batman quote-unquote movie that came out in 1964 by Andy Warthol called Batman Dracula. However, he made this movie without asking permission from DC Comics, so it was quickly dealt with after its release. Since then, it was thought that all copies of the film had been lost. However, some of the footage is still available for viewership, and it's really shitty to say the least. Number 82. In Batman Begins, Christian Bale reportedly suffered from crippling headaches and severe claustrophobia due to how the original Batsuit was made. Because of this, in The Dark Knight and Dark Knight Rises, a more flexible Batsuit was constructed from over 200 pieces of fiberglass, rubber, and nylon. So it was less claustrophobic and Bale could have more mobility. Number 83. Arkham Asylum was based on the sanatorium in the city of Arkham, Massachusetts from H.P. Lovecraft's novels, which the inspiration for his sanatorium was based on the Danvers State Hospital, a mental asylum in Massachusetts. Number 84! During the football stadium scene in The Dark Knight Rises, one person in the background is holding a sign with a giant R on it, and this R is written in the same style as the R on Robin's suit in the comics. Number 85. Before Nolan decided on Christian Bale for the role of Batman, he considered many actors as well, which were Billy Crudup, Jake Gyllenhaal, Joshua Jackson, Josh Hartnett, Ian Bailey, Hugh Dancy, Henry Cavill, Ashton Kutcher, and Heath Ledger, like we stated earlier, were all considered for the role of Batman. And I know I probably mispronounced a few of those names.
Number 86.
At one point shortly after Ben Affleck had been cast as Batman, he ran into Christian Bale, and Ben asked him if he had any advice for capturing the character, and Bale only responded with telling him to make sure the costume department added a zipper in the suit, so he wouldn't need a whole team to take him out of the suit so he could go to the bathroom. And sure enough, they did. Number 87! In the Arkham Asylum game's Black Gate side mission, one of the prisoner's booking numbers is the exact same as O.J. Simpson's booking number after his arrest. Number 88. Robin once brought Batman back from the dead. Sort of. Number 89. In one of the comics, Batman married Catwoman, and they had a daughter named Helena Wayne, and Helena grew up to be the Huntress. Number 90. Adam West originally got the role of Batman because of his performance as a James Bond ripoff in a Nestle Quick commercial that the producer of the show enjoyed. Number 91. Batman, the Frightening, and Batman Beginning were almost the title of the Batman Begins movie. Number 92. Gotham is an actual place found in Nottingham, England. Number 93. Darkseid is considered one of the strongest villains in the DC universe, and most of the Justice League are no match against him. But Batman has actually single-handedly defeated Darkseid twice so far. Number 94. The backgrounds of the animated Batman series were drawn on black paper instead of the traditional white to show the darker tone Batman is known for. Number 95. Batman is currently the 6th highest grossing movie character of all time. Number 96. Kevin Conroy is the actor who has played Batman the longest. He is responsible for being Batman's voice actor in many different video games and animated TV series, and he has also been playing Batman since 1992. So he's been at it for 14 going on 15 years, and he is also the one that created the idea of giving Bruce Wayne a deeper voice when he is in his Batman costume. Number 97. The cape in Batman Arkham Asylum was created by one developer who spent close to 2 years designing it. Because of this, it was praised for looking so realistic and has over 700 sounds and animations it can produce. Number 98. According to Forbes magazine, Bruce Wayne would be worth $7 billion in the real world. Number 99. If you wanted to become Batman yourself, it would cost around $300 million, while others have argued that it would take $682 million if you factor in the Batcave, Wayne Manor, and the property surrounding it. And on top of that, others have said it could instead be over $1 billion. And on top of all of that, it is scientifically possible for a real Batman to exist. However, this person in question would only be able to actually be Batman for a few years because of how physically demanding it would be to actually do everything that Batman does. So if you have a lot of fucking money, you could essentially do everything that Batman does for a few years before you had to retire. So somebody get on that. Number 100. At one point in time, Batman used something called Bat Female Villain Repellent Spray. Well, that's not stupid or sexist at all. And the moment that you've all been waiting for... Number 101. On the cover of World's Finest Comics number 9, we see Batman, Robin, and Superman throwing baseballs at 3 men. And it just so happens that one of them is Adolf Hitler. But... there you have it, everybody. 101 facts about the Dark Knight himself, Batman. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video today, and hopefully you learned something. If you did, make sure to leave a like on this video. But that is not all. If you leave a like on this video, there is a 0.0000267% chance that you will receive your very own Batmobile. That is correct. If you are one of the lucky few who will receive this Batmobile, it will be parked outside of your house at some point during the next 7 years. So just make sure to look out your window every day and maybe you'll be one of the lucky few. Also make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. We've got plenty more videos on the way and we have 2 videos left in the week of 101's, so you definitely don't want to miss those.
Also make sure to like and follow Too Spooky on his social media and bring a towel. Links are in the description. Oh, and make sure to follow him on Twitch, and his P.O. Box address is down there as well. Just remember to always have a towel on hand.
Alright, Towley, we've taken care of the drugs, but now we need to take care of this bring a towel thing. It's just not working.
Too Spooky, we've already been over this. People need to know proper towel use. It's the sole reason that I was brought into this world, after all.
Okay, Towley, you know what? We will figure that out later. It's not that big a deal. Just work on it, okay?
Yeah, alright.
Wait a second. Oh, shit. I fucked up real hard.
Why? What happened?
Back when I first asked Bane to join the channel, he told me that he would only join if I never made a video about Batman. Oh my fucking god, he's gonna be fucking pissed.
What the hell? Why do I get the feeling that Too Spooky is betraying me right now? He better fucking not be. Either way, I've got to get moving. The mountain is just ahead. Carl! You around here? Carl! He was asking for directions to this mountain, right? Why would he do that? Better question, why was he even going to China in the first place? It was, to meet some doctor or something, right? Well, maybe that guy lives on this mountain somewhere. What the hell am I saying? Why the hell would a doctor live on a mountain? But I guess there's really no other explanation, is there? Well, it's going to take a while to scale the whole thing, but I've got to find him. Well, here goes nothing.
Good morning, Carl. How are you feeling today?
Well, I feel pretty good. Thanks for having that breakfast sent to my room. I was starving.
Well, you need a nice meal in your stomach so you can feel your best. Especially because of what you're in for today.
Which is what?
I'm going to need to perform brain surgery on you to figure out exactly what's going on in your head.
Brain surgery? Holy shit, I didn't realize it was going to be that serious.
It's not as bad as you think. I'm a professional after all. I just need to poke around in there and figure out why you can't access those memories.
Okay, well, when do we begin?
Right now, my boy. Just head over to that operating table over there and I'll give you something to knock you out so you aren't awake to feel any of this.
Okay, what are you gonna give me?
A frying pan to the back of the head.
Wait, what?
There we go. Alright, let's get started here. Most of this is looking normal, but what about the prefrontal cortex? My god, is green? That's not normal. What could that possibly be? Nothing is even creating a reaction. It's almost like whatever this is isn't from this world. Wait. Could it be? No. My god! I'll have to contact him right away.
Hello?
Yeah, hello? Yeah, hey man, it's Vegapunk. Listen, I'm performing some brain surgery on this kid, and there's something going on in his brain that isn't normal at all. Almost otherworldly, if you know what I'm saying. So I was wondering if I could send him over to you and you could do some tests for me.
What's going on?
Okay, thank you so much, man. I'll patch him up and wait until he's awake, then I'll be sending him your way. Also, I'm going to be sending you a list of things to look for. Just make sure to let me know immediately if he ends up matching one of them, okay? Thanks, dude. Bye.
that happened. Oh, Vegapunk, how did it go? And why did you hit me in the head with a frying pan?
Well, Carl, to tell you the truth, I ran out of anesthesia, so I needed to improvise. And what I found in your head isn't something I'm familiar with, so I'm going to have my friend take a look at you.
Oh, well, hopefully he can figure something out.
Yeah. On top of that, after I was finished operating, something very peculiar happened. You see, I had to put the top of your head back on, right? Stitch and staple it all back together. And within 2 hours, your head was completely healed. Stitches were gone, and the staples were even pushed out of your head. It appears as though you have a very high healing factor. And I also think that has something to do with your memory. But my colleague will find out soon enough.
Healing factor, that sounds pretty cool. When will I be meeting him?
Oh yeah, if you're ready, I can send you to him right now.
Well, I guess I'm as ready as I'll ever be, why not?
Okay, just step in that clear room over there and it'll just be a second.
Alrighty.
Alright, Carl, this might tingle a bit.
What might tingle?
I'm going to be sending you to another dimension.
Wait, what?
See you soon! Hopefully.
What the fuck do you mean another dimension?
Hopefully Bane will understand that I just forgot about it. I mean, it's been such a long time since he joined. It was a common mistake that I forgot about it. But anyways, guys, if you cannot get enough too spooky content, well, why don't you click here? For 101 facts about RuneScape, which was actually the previous video in the week of 101's. And if that's not doing it for you, well, why don't you click here for 10 facts about the Joker? Which, fun fact, that video is actually back from the week of 10s when we were celebrating 10,000 subscribers. So we've come such a long way. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching this video today. We've got 2 videos left in the week of 101's, like I said earlier, so make sure to look out for those, and I will see you guys with a new video tomorrow.